There was no grand collapse, no dramatic explosion. It started with a whisper, barely a breeze on the surface, but I felt it deep down like a shift in pressure before a storm. You don't always see the betrayal when it walks through the door. Sometimes it's already sitting at your table asking how your day was, chewing with the same mouth that tells someone else they're missed. I wasn't looking for signs. I wasn't checking her phone or smelling her clothes. I wasn't doing the things paranoid people do when they know they've already lost. No, what happened was accidental. A glitch. A slip. And maybe fate if you believe in cruel little jokes dressed up as divine intervention. It happened like this. She sent me a text. Guess what? I'm on a date. LOL, just kidding babe, you know how people sometimes send a joke that doesn't land? That wasn't this. It wasn't funny. It wasn't her kind of humor. She doesn't LOL. Not to me. That message? It felt off. Like someone trying to cover something up by pretending it's nothing. What she didn't know was that I was already sitting across the street from the restaurant she just walked into. Not spying. Just confirming. Let me rewind. Earlier that day, I had lunch with a friend of mine, Daniel. Works in tech. He's the kind of guy who notices everything. He's annoying like that. He asked me if we were still solid because he saw her the other night, alone, at a bar downtown, talking to a guy in a way that didn't look very married. I didn't react. I didn't accuse. I just thanked him and told him I'd handle it. So I did. She told me she was heading to yoga. She even changed into her workout clothes and sprayed herself with that peppermint body mist she uses when she wants to seem effortless. But she didn't take her yoga mat. She didn't even take her water bottle. I followed her, staying 2 cars behind. Watched her change in the back seat of her car like some undercover operation, then walk into a quiet little restaurant dressed in something far too expensive for stretching on a mat. She wasn't alone. A man was already waiting for her inside, smiling like he knew exactly what was about to happen. Then she sent me that text. Like she wanted to gauge my reaction. Like she wanted to see if I would break. I didn't. I sent mine back, nice try. Turn around. Now. Through the window, I saw her glance at her phone, then slowly lift her head and scan the street like the hunted finally hearing the twig snap. Her spine stiffened, her lips moved, probably swearing under her breath, but her expression? That was the jackpot. Panic. She texted again. Wait, are you spying on me? I didn't blink. I typed, yep. And I brought a lawyer. I watched her flinch. I mean, physically jerk back like someone had grabbed her by the collar. The man across from her leaned in, said something low. She waved him off and stood up, almost knocking over her glass. She stormed out of the restaurant and started pacing the sidewalk, phone to her ear. I didn't pick up. Let her boil. Then I opened the car door, stepped out, and locked eyes with her across the street. The way her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again, it was like watching a system crash in real time. And just like that, I knew she didn't expect to be caught. Not like this. This wasn't going to be a quiet talk behind closed doors. This wasn't going to be a therapy session or a tearful apology. No, this was war. And I had already set the first piece on the board. She didn't cross the street right away. She just stood there, glaring at me like I was the one who had some explaining to do. Her phone still glued to her ear even though the call was dead. That was her thing, hold onto props, pretend there's control in the chaos. But there wasn't. I walked toward her slowly, deliberately, not saying a word. I wanted her to feel it. The weight. The silence. The burn of being exposed when she thought she was untouchable. Her eyes darted toward the man inside the restaurant who was now pretending to look at his menu like he hadn't just been a few sentences away from crossing a line with someone else's wife. You're being insane, she hissed the moment I got close enough to hear. You followed me? What the hell is wrong with you? I didn't respond. Just tilted my head calmly like I was trying to read a foreign language on her face. And maybe I was, because whatever I thought I knew about her was slipping through the cracks and what was left wasn't familiar anymore. Don't do this here, she said quickly, eyes scanning the sidewalk like someone might recognize her. Let's go home and talk like adults. You want to talk now? I said flat. Now that you've finished dinner and a performance? She stepped closer, lowering her voice. He's just a friend. It was a joke. The text, I was messing with you. You always take things too far. That's why you changed in your car? Why you told me yoga but you're here in heels and lipstick, whispering over wine? She paused, recalculating. I didn't think you'd overreact. I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just came out, this sharp, hollow sound that didn't feel like it belonged to me. She was still trying to spin it. Still painting herself as misunderstood. Like I'd somehow imagined her slipping into another life behind my back. Was it him last time? I asked. Or do you rotate them, keep things interesting? Her nostrils flared. You're being cruel. No, I said, stepping closer, quiet but steady. Cruel would be me walking into that restaurant, shaking his hand and introducing myself as your husband. Her face cracked then, just a flicker, but enough. I knew. I didn't need confessions or tears. The truth was dripping off her in waves, and no amount of gaslighting could mop it up. From my jacket pocket, I pulled out a manila envelope. Thick, heavy. I handed it to her like a waiter serving a check. What is this? A lawyer, I said. Like I told you, all the paperwork's in there. You can sign it now or I can file it Monday. Either way, I'm done. Her hand trembled as she took it, but her voice didn't. You're overreacting. This is pathetic. We've had problems, but this is dramatic. You're right, I said. It is. But the thing is, I'm not the one who turned our marriage into a joke. I'm just finishing the punchline. And before she could say another word, I turned around, walked past our car, past the stairs and kept going. She didn't follow, but I knew she'd try something next. They always do, and I was ready. She showed up at the house an hour later. I was sitting in the living room with the lights off. No music, no TV, just silence and the low hum of the fridge in the next room. Like even the appliances were holding their breath. I heard her car door slam outside fast, angry. Then the keys jingling in the lock like she was still entitled to the space she just defiled. She stepped in like she owned the place. No knock, no hesitation. Just stormed through the front door and tossed the envelope onto the coffee table like it had insulted her. What the hell is this, really? She said, arms crossed. You're ending a marriage over a dinner? No, I said, still seated. I'm ending it over a year of half-truths and disappearing weekends and laughing texts to guys named Brad or Greg or whatever his name was tonight. She scoffed. There's no one named Brad. You sound paranoid. I stood up. Slowly. Walked over to the coffee table, picked up the envelope and opened it. I pulled out a stack of printed messages. Screenshots. Receipts. One from 2 months ago, her telling someone, I wish you were the one I came home to. Another, he doesn't suspect anything. He's always too tired to notice. I threw them on the table, one by one, like cards in a game I never agreed to play. Still think this is about a dinner? Her mouth opened, but she said nothing. For once, nothing clever, nothing manipulative. Just air and guilt and tension flooding into the room all at once. Then she tried the classic pivot. You've been checked out for months. You don't touch me. You don't ask how I am. What did you think was going to happen? Ah, the monologue. The one where somehow I'm the villain for not noticing her unraveling while I worked 60 hours a week to make sure we had everything we ever talked about. You want me to feel bad? I said. You want to paint this as some mutual collapse? That would make it easier, wouldn't it? If I was just as guilty. But I didn't lie. I didn't sneak around. I didn't turn my husband into a placeholder while I lived a second life. She stepped forward, voice low, almost trembling now. I made a mistake. No, I corrected. You made a choice. 1,000 of them, one after the other, every time you texted him back, every time you smiled at me and lied. Mistakes are accidental. What you did was deliberate. She looked away. That was the real tell. She always looked people in the eye, bosses, baristas, judges. But not now. Not me. You don't want to fix this? She whispered. Fix what? I said. The illusion? She sat down on the edge of the couch like she thought that would soften the moment. Like sitting made her human again. I didn't sleep with him, she said. I laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. It was just disbelief in sound form. That's the card you're playing? After everything? Silence again. Then she looked up at me with this expression, this mix of defiance and desperation, and said, Do you really want to throw away everything over one stupid night? And there it was. The pivot. The final play. Funny, I said. I was just about to ask you the same thing. I walked upstairs and shut the door behind me. Not a slam. Not a fight. Just final. And for the first time in months I slept. Not because it was over, but because I was done pretending it wasn't. The next morning wasn't quiet. I woke up to the sound of dishes clinking downstairs. Familiar, forced, rhythmic. She was making breakfast. Like it was just another Saturday. Like last night hadn't split the entire timeline of our marriage into before and after. I stayed upstairs for a while. Not to avoid her. I just wanted to see what she'd do without being watched. That's when I heard the vacuum. She was cleaning now. The same woman who couldn't be bothered to load a dishwasher for months was suddenly scrubbing baseboards. And then the smell, pancakes. Blueberry. My favorite. That's when I understood. She wasn't sorry. She was resetting. She thought this could be wiped clean with breakfast and a clean living room. She thought if she scrubbed the house spotless, I'd forget what I saw, what I read, what I knew now too clearly to unknow. I came down slow, still in the clothes I slept in. Her head snapped up like she'd been caught doing something she wasn't proud of. That alone said everything. Morning, she said, chipper but thin. Morning, I replied, flat. I made food. Figured we could talk. I sat, but not to eat. Just to listen. She slid a plate toward me like it was a peace offering. I thought about everything you said last night. I was upset. I panicked. I said things I didn't mean. You lied, I corrected. She exhaled hard. Okay. Yes. I lied. But I didn't do what you think I did. We talked. That's it. He kissed me and I pulled away. I swear. Then why lie about yoga? I thought you'd overreact. You're right, I interrupted. I am overreacting. I should have brought balloons and thanked you for the thrilling plot twist. Her jaw clenched. You're being cruel again, she muttered. No, I said, I'm being clear. Don't confuse the two. She tried again. I panicked. I wanted to feel something. You've been distant. I felt invisible. He listened. So you replaced your husband with a better audience? That shut her up for a second. Then she pivoted again. I want to fix this. I'll do therapy. We can figure this out. You don't just throw away years of marriage over a series of calculated betrayals? Sure you do. She slammed her fork down. Why are you acting like I'm the only one who failed here? I stared at her. Long enough that she looked away again. You don't get to rewrite the script just because you're afraid of the ending. Silence. For a long moment. Then she said something that almost made me laugh again. Almost? I deleted his number. Right in front of you. Doesn't that mean anything? I stood up. Yeah, I said. It means you needed me to see you do it. Which tells me everything I need to know about what else you were hiding. She didn't speak. Just watch me walk out the door. Not to leave her forever yet. Just enough to remind her this wasn't her stage anymore. Her performance was over. And if she thought she'd manipulate her way back into control, she had no idea what was coming. By Monday, she had activated her next weapon, sympathy. I came home from work to find her sitting at the kitchen table, holding an old photo album open like she just happened to be strolling down memory lane. Our wedding photos, a beach trip, that one Thanksgiving where her mom drank too much sangria and told everyone I was too quiet to trust. She was in sweatpants this time. No makeup. Her hair in a sloppy bun like she wanted to look vulnerable. The kind of vulnerable that says, look, I'm soft now. Forgive me. I walked right past her to the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and leaned against the counter. She didn't say anything at first, just stared at the picture of us on page 12. Her in white, me in a suit, smiling like we'd never seen a single shadow. I was looking at these, she said finally, her voice soft. We were so happy. Yeah, I said. Before you started auditioning other husbands. Her eyes flinched, but she kept going. I don't even recognize who I was last week. I don't know why I did it. You planned it, I replied. You knew what you were doing. Tears. Right on cue. She turned to me with glassy eyes and trembling lips like she was trying to secure an Oscar. I'm scared, she whispered. I don't want to lose you. That's when I realized how deep the performance went. This wasn't regret. This wasn't a woman broken over what she did. This was someone terrified of losing her safety net. You're scared of losing comfort, I said. Not me. That's not fair, you unfair. I snapped, stepping forward now. You stood in that restaurant, lying to my face, texting me like it was a joke. Then you doubled down when you were caught. You mocked me. And now you want to cry over photo albums and pretend it's all a misunderstanding. I panicked, she said again. No, I said quieter now. You calculated. You always calculate. She looked away. Then the real her started leaking through again. You're not perfect either, she muttered. Never said I was, I said. But I didn't lie. I didn't humiliate you. I didn't sit across from someone else and wonder how long I could keep both lives going. That hit hard. She closed the album slowly, like the sound of the closing cover might soften the sting of the truth. Okay, she said. Then what now? You just leave. No, I said. You do. She looked up, genuinely confused. What? You want to rebuild trust? Start with honesty. Go stay at your sister's. Tell her why. Tell your friends too. Don't spin it. Don't soften it. You want forgiveness? Liven the truth for once. She opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off. Go. It was quiet for a long time. Then she stood, scooped the album into her arms like it was her shield, and walked toward the stairs. But not before she said it, because of course she did. You'll regret this. I didn't answer. But what I was thinking was, you already do. And this wasn't regret. This was just the middle of the unraveling. She left the next morning. No dramatic goodbye. No last-ditch hug. Just a slammed cabinet door, a suitcase with wheels that didn't roll smoothly, and the faint click of her car door shutting like the end of a scene she hadn't quite nailed. I didn't feel relief. Not yet. Just stillness. The kind that hums when someone leaves a room carrying the storm with them. I didn't hear from her for 2 days. Then the call came from her sister. I almost didn't pick up. I wasn't in the mood for the you should talk to her speech, or worse, the subtle pressure to not throw it all away. But something told me to answer. Her voice was sharp. Clipped. No greeting. She didn't come here, she said immediately. I sat down. What do you mean? She told me she was staying with you, that you two were working things out. But she never showed up. She hasn't answered my texts. My blood went cold. I checked my phone. Nothing. No messages. No missed calls. And then my stomach dropped. Her location was still shared, a setting we'd both turned on years ago for safety during travel. I never turned it off. I opened the app. She wasn't at her sister's. She was at his place. A new address. Not the restaurant guy. Someone else. A name I didn't recognize. My heart didn't race, it steadied. Cold, mechanical. Like my body finally realized what my mind had been screaming for days. There was no bottom to this. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. Then I texted. So this is where the story goes now? A minute passed. Then she replied, You're stalking me now? There it was. Not shame. Not explanation. Just deflection. Accusation. The same move she'd played over and over. Your sister called. You told her you were staying there. Typing. Then nothing. No reply. That was her move to retreat. Disappear until the heat died down. Until she could rewrite the script. But this time I wasn't playing along. I called Daniel, my friend from earlier. Tech guy. Knows how to find things that don't want to be found. Do me a favor, I said. I need to know who lives at this address. He paused. Then, what am I looking for? Proof, I said. Or whatever's left of it. An hour later, he called back. Address belongs to a guy named Alex Turner. Works in finance. Divorced last year. Known to date around. Likes married women. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because of how obvious it all was now. This wasn't a one-time slip. This was a pattern. She hadn't just fallen into something. She'd been constructing this escape route for months. Testing doors. Finding exits. Keeping backups. She didn't come to me with remorse. She came with a mop and a smile and hoped I'd be too tired to look under the rug. Now I had the name, the address, the pattern, and just enough fury left to do something about it. But not in anger, with precision. Because if she wanted to treat this marriage like a game, I was done playing by her rules. I didn't knock. Not right away. I stood across the street from his apartment for a solid 15 minutes, just watching. It was a sleek high-rise. Glass balconies, polished entryway, that cold, modern vibe that screams, I work long hours and need people to know I'm important. It was nearly 9 p.m. The lights on his third-floor unit were dim. One was flickering. She was there. I knew it without needing proof. She didn't answer her sister. She didn't come clean. She vanished like a shadow that didn't want to be chased. And now I had a decision to make. Not about confronting her. I'd done that. I was here for him. Not out of jealousy. Not even rage, really. I wanted to see the man she thought was worth torching our life over. I crossed the street. Calm. Steady. Buzzed his number at the call box. Yeah? A voice answered. Not hers. His package, I said. There was a pause. Then a buzz. I stepped inside. Elevator. Third floor. Unit 312. I knocked. Once. Twice. He opened the door shirtless, holding a beer, wearing the smug face of a man who thought I was Postmates. Then his smile faded. You're Alex? I asked casually. He blinked. Yeah. Do I know you? I nodded once, slow. You know my wife. The color drained from his face instantly. Not guilt. Not apology. Fear. She appeared behind him a second later, barefoot, in an oversized t-shirt that definitely wasn't hers. When her eyes met mine, she didn't flinch. She froze. You need to leave, she said immediately. I didn't step forward. Didn't raise my voice. I'm not here for you, I said to her, then turned to him. I just wanted to meet the man who thinks sleeping with a married woman makes him special. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. She does this, I said. She tests, pushes, sees what she can get away with. You think you're the first? She stepped forward now. You're done. You don't get to do this. Oh, I'm done, I said, nodding. I just figured he deserved to know what kind of revolving door he invited into his bed. I handed Alex a small envelope. Same kind I gave her days ago. Inside? A printed copy of her messages to another man. Not him. The other one. The one from the restaurant. His eyes flicked over the papers. His jaw tightened. Then he looked at her. This true? She said nothing. Just turned her head slightly. Like a puppet with a broken string. I'd change the locks, I said to him. When she runs, she circles back eventually. She hissed, You're pathetic. No, I said. You are. But not for cheating. For thinking you could keep all the fires burning without getting burned. I turned and walked away. Didn't run. Didn't look back. But as I stepped into the elevator, I heard him say something. Low. Sharp. I'm not your backup plan. The doors closed before I heard her answer. But I didn't need to. Because I wasn't her backup either. And she just lost everyone in one night. 3 days passed. No texts. No calls. Not even the usual manipulative breadcrumb disguised as a question, did you eat today? Or can I grab some of my things? Nothing. It was eerie. Like the eye of a storm had drifted over me. I spent those days tying up loose ends, canceling joint accounts, transferring utilities, meeting with my lawyer. My life was suddenly divided into categories, ours, mine, and trash. You'd be surprised how much falls into that last one when someone's been living 2 lives under your roof. Then, late Friday afternoon, I got a message from a name I didn't recognize. Melanie Harper. I stared at it for a second, then opened it. You don't know me, but I think I need to talk to you. It's about her. I replied with a single line, call me. Now. She did. Her voice was careful, tense. She dated my brother. For a few months last year. My pulse jumped. Wait, last year? Yeah. He ended it in December. She told him she was separated. Said you were violent. That she was trapped. I sank into the nearest chair, phone pressed to my ear, fingers clenched. She told him I what? I'm so sorry. He believed her. He's not, well, he's had a rough time since. I only found out about you because I saw your name on the envelope she left here. She left something at his place? 2 nights ago. After your visit to Alex. She showed up here. Wanted to talk to my brother again. Is he still talking to her? No. I told him the truth. I showed him your posts online. The lawyer envelope. The texts. It clicked for him. He blocked her. I was quiet. Processing. Another man. Previous man. So not 2. At least 3. Maybe more. All wrapped in different stories. all with versions of me cast as the villain. She left a message on our landline, Melanie said. You might want to hear it. I gave her permission to send it. A minute later, I played it. Her voice? Shaky, breathy, falsely fragile. I don't know what's real anymore. Everyone's turning on me. He's telling lies. He's making me look crazy. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Please call me back. You know I love you. She didn't say a name. Just you. Because she was firing in every direction, hoping one man would catch the bullet and carry her out. She wasn't spiraling because of guilt. She was spiraling because the web collapsed. The audience vanished. And for the first time, the spotlight she loved so much was aimed at her, but no one was clapping. I texted Melanie, "Thank you for telling me. If she contacts you again, block her." She replied, "Already did." That night, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in weeks. Inside, a framed photo of us, smiling, arms wrapped, somewhere on a beach. I took it out of the frame, folded it once, then twice. Then I lit a match, watched it curl, blacken, vanish. Not because I hated her, but because it was time. Time to burn what no longer served me. It always ends the same way, with silence, then desperation. She didn't go quiet for long. 3 days after the message on Melanie's landline, she finally reached out again. This time directly. No vague bait, no fake confusion. A full message written like a script she'd rehearsed a dozen times in front of the mirror. I know I made mistakes, but I'm not the monster you've turned me into. You're ruining my life. You've involved strangers, friends, even people I barely know. I never meant to hurt you like this. I didn't know how broken I was until now. Please, let's talk. One last time. Just you and me. No yelling. No lawyers. Just us. There it was. The final card, redemption. She wanted closure. Or maybe a window to crawl back through, dressed in apologies and trembling hands. I read the message 5 times. Then I replied, "Meet me tomorrow, 11 a.m. Our spot." She agreed instantly. I arrived early. The same Thai place from the night it all cracked open. The same booth by the window. It was poetic in a sick way. I wanted her to feel the weight of sitting in the exact place she tried to play me like a joke. She walked in at 11:07, dressed in soft tones. No makeup, hair down. An outfit chosen to look fragile. She slid into the seat across from me with a deep, performative sigh. "I didn't think you'd actually come," she said softly. "I came for closure," I said. "That's all." She nodded. Her eyes searched mine, trying to find any leftover warmth. There was none. "I was in a bad place," she started. "I thought you didn't care. You were always working, always tired, and I got lost." "You got busy," I corrected. "With 3 different men. Minimum." She flinched, but she didn't deny it. Smart. That would have blown the whole scene early. "I wasn't trying to replace you," she said. "You were replacing the role," I said. "Not the man. The attention. The validation. You needed someone clapping for your little tragedies." She looked down. "I know I broke something," she whispered, "but I'm still me." "No," I said, leaning forward. "You're a version of you I can never trust again." Silence. Then came the tears. Real or fake, I couldn't tell. Didn't matter. Her hands trembled on the table. I didn't reach for them. "I have nowhere to go," she said. "Everyone turned their backs on me." "That tends to happen," I said. "When you lie to everyone and treat loyalty like a disposable napkin." Her jaw tensed. "So this is it?" I didn't answer with words. I slid a new envelope across the table. This one smaller. Contained. Final. Inside. Signed divorce papers. All I needed was her signature. "This is cruelty," she whispered. "No," I said. "This is consequence." She didn't sign. Not right there. She just stared at the papers like they were written in a language she never bothered to learn. "Do you still love me?" she asked quietly. I paused. "No. I love who I thought you were. That person's gone." She looked away. Her hands slowly pulled the envelope off the table. I stood up. As I turned to leave, I said one last thing. The worst part isn't that you lied. It's that I believed you. And then I walked out. She didn't follow. Not this time. It's been 4 months. No dramatic returns. No letters. No, I miss us voicemails. She signed the papers. Eventually. Sent them through her lawyer, no note attached, just a clean, quiet signature at the bottom like she was clocking out of a shift she never really showed up for. The silence since then has been louder than anything she ever screamed during those last weeks. I didn't date. Didn't party. I didn't jump into some kind of post-divorce reinvention arc like people do in movies. I just cleaned. My place. My phone. My head. I scrubbed the calendar clean of anniversaries that used to mean something. Donated things she picked out. Repainted rooms she had claimed with her taste. Every drawer I opened was like unearthing another little lie. Receipts, birthday cards from men I never met. Things she kept hidden in plain sight because she assumed I'd never look that closely. But I did now. And what I found wasn't rage anymore. It was clarity. She didn't love me. She loved the version of me that made her feel important. Safe. Worshipped. The second I became human. Flawed. Tired. Maybe distracted. She went looking for applause elsewhere. And when she got caught, she didn't apologize. She performed. The memory that sticks with me the most isn't the confrontation or the texts or even walking out of that restaurant. It's her face when I told her, "I'm not here for you." That was the moment she realized her grip was gone, that her words weren't spells anymore. I don't hate her. I don't want revenge. That's too small for what we were. I just don't believe her anymore. And when belief dies, everything else with it becomes fiction. To anyone reading this who might be sitting in that same numb place, wondering if you're imagining it, if the lies are real, if your gut is screaming for no reason, listen. Listen hard. The truth doesn't knock. It doesn't wait for your schedule to open. It kicks the door in, sometimes with a smile, sometimes with a text that says, "Guess what? I'm on a date." Oh, just kidding, babe. And when it does, you don't argue. You don't beg. You don't chase. You just stand up, walk into the fire, and take back your name. I did. And the silence that came after finally sounds like peace.